put it on our counseling webpage. So I hope everyone is okay with that, and just know that any questions you ask will be in the presentation. I'm going to switch into my presentation screen on my computer, but that means that I'm not going to be able to see the chat. So what I'm going to ask is that if you do have a question and you don't mind me waiting until the end to answer, you could put it in the chat. But if you have a question that you want answered right away, that you just unmute yourself and ask, because I won't be able to see it. Okay, so this is our presentation for our senior class of 2021. We are finally here. This is you guys' senior year, and I know you are extremely excited. Somebody. To be a senior. So just a little bit about me. I've been working with most of you since your freshman year, but for some parents that I may not know, and even some students that I'm just really getting to know, I am a two-time grad of the University of Michigan Flint. I recently, as of last year, became a licensed school counselor, and I'm also a mental health counselor. So I do some counseling work here in the Flint community that I live in. I work mostly with students ages 4 to 18, so kind of the same demographic that I do at work. And I also work with some families who are experiencing infertility, because many of you know that I had a rough pregnancy when I had my Demi Rose. So speaking of Demi Rose, we all know that's all I talk about. I recently put her down for her nap, so I am hoping that she is going to sleep our entire presentation. But if not, we will be joined by the Demi Rose, and I'm going to try to keep her quiet. But I'm hoping that she does not wake up until we are done. I still live in Flint, so everyone knows I commute a little ways. One thing I have loved about this school year is, and I let me not say love, because I do miss electives, but because I don't have to stay after for electives, I'm able to leave right at 2:45 and I'm able to get home by 4 o'clock. So I have been enjoying that and missing any kind of traffic. I absolutely love Beyonce, so I think that's important, because I love Beyonce and my Demi Rose. And I have worked in college access for the last 9 years, and I have been fortunate enough to be at Arbor Prep for the past 6. So that is how I have really gotten a chance to learn. A lot of you, I've worked with your siblings, your parents know and trust me. So it makes it awesome for our relationship, and being able to trust that I have the best intention for you and for parents for your student. Just a little information about the class of 2020. So unfortunately, this class was, their senior year was cut short in March because of the coronavirus. So one day we were talking about graduation and prom and what we were gonna get ready to plan. And the next day we learned we were not gonna be back to school. So unfortunately, did not get a chance to finish a lot of things. But I assumed, and incorrectly, that many of them were going to decide to go to community college because classes were online, but many of them did not. Many of them said, I'm still going to go to the school that I was admitted to. I still want to go to my dream school. And even some of them are staying on campus. Many of my Michigan State students that went off this year are on campus right now. Washtenaw Community College is always a big one for us, because they offer 5 full ride scholarships to Arbor Prep students. So usually students who in the beginning of the year say, I'm going out of state, or they may say, I'm going to Michigan State or Wayne State. And then once we look at their financial aid, they begin to think about Washtenaw and taking advantage of not only 2 years of free tuition, but 2 years of free tuition and free books. That scholarship through Washtenaw does require a 3.2 GPA. So I always when I'm meeting with students, I always mention, hey, you know, we got this Washtenaw scholarship. And usually students will say, you know, either yes, I'm interested, or no, I'm not. Or parents will contact me and say, no, they're definitely interested in the Washtenaw Community College Scholarship. University of Michigan Ann Arbor continues to be a big one for us at Arbor Prep. Eastern Michigan is always a big one. We have a nice amount of students who are actually still staying on Eastern Michigan's campus, or some that decide to stay home. And Wayne County Community College has now moved up into our top 5 for students to attend, because of the fact that we have that early college, and students are either doing that 5th year, or because they came to visit, students are looking at them to go to, especially those that live in like the Belleville area. They are preferring to go to Wayne County over Washtenaw Community College, that Ted Scott campus. Some of the big factors, cost continues to be the biggest factor when deciding to go to school. I have students that are really interested in historically Black colleges. I have students that are really interested in going to California or going to some of the Texas schools. But once we begin to look at that cost, their decisions change and we begin to say, hey, maybe you can look at that for your master's or your doctorate, but right now your parents are only able to afford for you to go to Eastern or for you to go to University of Michigan, Dearborn. Many students are deciding to stay home, especially with the coronavirus. Even students that I'm talking to now in your class of 2021 are saying, I think I'm just going to spend 2 years at home. I don't really want to do online school and not be able to stay on the campus of the school that I'm interested in. So that's beginning to be a big shift to whereas students have really valued that campus life. More students are saying, I really don't want to have much debt. I really enjoy living at home with my parents, and I don't mind staying home for another 2 years. Beginning of the year, plans change. So many students that are talking to me right now may say, I am definitely getting out of Michigan. Ms. Russell, if you mention a Michigan school to me, I'm going to scream. By the time we make it to March or April, that decision changes because their FAFSA information comes back and they see how much they're going to need. Again, the pandemic did not alter many students' college choice. They still decided to go to the school of their choice, even if they were going to have to do online classes. And 100% of our students apply and were accepted to a four-year university. That is one of our graduation requirements. You do not have to attend the 4-year, but you do have to apply and be accepted, because applying to a 4 years application in the process is a little bit different than applying to community college. And we want all of our students to have that experience. So new for 20 and 2021, I think we just get right into it and then kind of backtrack into some of the other information that I have for you. Michigan schools are test optional. Any public university that you're looking at in the state of Michigan, that includes University of Michigan Ann Arbor, that includes Michigan State, they are test optional. So what is test optional, right? Test optional means that you can decide if you want to send your SAT scores or not. It's truly test optional. My suggestion to students is that they still take the SAT, because we may need it later on for scholarships. We may need the SAT later on for course placement, but that they do not send it to any school when you're taking it. So you receive 4 free schools to send it off to, and that you don't take advantage of that when you take the test, that you get your score, you hold on to it, and then me and you meet and see if it makes sense to send your SAT score or not. Many schools are saying that the SAT score won't hurt you. So if they can admit you without it, they'll admit you. But if they need it, then they'll take it. But I haven't talked to every school in Michigan about this. So I would just rather we just have the SAT score to hold on to and then send it off later. And there's ways that I can send it off for you for free. So there's no need to worry about the cost that there is for you to send it through College Board. So we will work together on that. Like, it's more important than ever that we work together. So normally, the counselor that I have been my past 6 years at Arbor Prep is that I find you in the hallway and I grab you and I say, hey, I need you today. I need you to come in and come in my classroom today. I'm going to ask Ms. Hogan if I can have you for the hour. Or I'll say, hey, let's stay after school, or your lunch is going to be with me today because I need for you to get this done. That can't really happen. I can't pull students out of class because you're only physically in that class 1 or 2 days. And it's not fair to you or to the teacher. I can't pull you a lot of times for lunch because that's the only time you really get to talk to anybody. So I feel kind of bad. So I try to get you during advisory, but I try to do a lot with students now on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But that's going to take for you also, students, to be responsive to my emails, to be responsive to my texts, because I'm going to search you out. That responsibility is not on you, but the responsibility I'm putting on you is just to answer when I search you out. And if you have any questions, to feel free to text me. I think I've shown pretty much that I'm very responsive, and I love to have conversations with you all and be with you all. So please feel free, any question you have, to always reach out to me. Parents also. I will be reaching out to parents if students are not responsive. So because it is so imperative that I'm helping you this year, and because I won't see you 5 days a week, I am going to reach out to parents and say, hey, I've been contacting such and such, and they're just not responsive. Can you please help me? So parents, I'm asking for your help. I said no in-person tours because that's what I was told. But today we had the high school visit with Eastern Michigan. It was virtual, and Eastern Michigan said they're going to reopen their in-person tours October. So this could not be true. Schools could be deciding that they're going to reopen those tours and let you come to campus. So if you feel comfortable, then I think that would be awesome. I think they're going to keep them socially distanced. I mean, of course, they're going to keep them extremely small. So if you feel comfortable with going on these college campuses and they're reopening them, then I think that would be awesome for the students and the families. Many schools are planning to stay virtual as of right now. So we know with coronavirus and everything that's going on, everything is ever changing. So as of right now, schools are saying they're going to stay virtual in the spring, and then in the fall, they're going to look into in the summer, but it looks like they're going to continue to offer as many virtual options as they can until everything gets under control. Just to remind all students, Arbor Prep, you're taking the SAT October 14th at the school. And registration is with Ms. Snowberger on October 6th from 12 to 1. She is asking every student to be in attendance that is taking the SAT. So if you cannot be in attendance that day, then you need to contact her ASAP. And you need to let her know your plans for taking the SAT ASAP. But again, if you're asking my opinion, it is that you definitely take the SAT and do not send your score report out to anyone until we meet. Transcripts. So students request their transcripts through Parchment. If you're applying to school on the Common App, which I'll talk about in another slide, then you do not have to send your transcript out because I upload it onto Parchment. I mean, I uploaded onto the Common App, I'm sorry. But if you just want to be safe, if you're like, I want to send the Common App, but I want to make sure they get it, you know, like a lot of my seniors do, that's fine. Just request it through Parchment. So over on the right-hand side, you see I have a screenshot of the Google Classroom, because this summer, put a slideshow together to show students how to get everything through Parchment. And I still have some seniors telling me they don't know how to get into Parchment. So sorry, seniors, but that kind of doesn't make sense to me because I have your whole slideshow and it's perfect. If you follow every step, is awesome. If I can say so myself, if that's not up in what I did too much. So just make sure that you go and you're logging into the Google Classroom and accessing all of the valuable information that I have for you. So Common App opened on August 1st, I'm sorry. And students can access that through commonapp.org. Common App allows for students to apply to multiple universities through one application. It is a lot. So they do ask a lot of information, but it's in one central place. And some schools are becoming where they only accept Common App. So if any student is deciding to apply to University of Michigan Ann Arbor, you have to use the Common App. They don't have their own university application, but other schools do. So let's say you're applying to Wayne State, you can choose to use the Common App, or you can choose to apply on Wayne State's website. But if you're doing 3, 4, 5 schools and they're all on Common App, then I tell students go ahead and use the Common application. Starting in October, schools are going to, for Michigan, are going to release if they're going to have fee waivers. Right now, many schools have decided to just go free for this year because they're expecting to have a lot of students who need a fee waiver. Schools such as Saginaw Valley, schools such as Eastern, they're going to be free this year, where normally they're $25 to apply unless you have a fee waiver code through me. There's no code needed this year. Schools such as Wayne State are going to release their code. I'm supposed to get all the codes tomorrow, and I plan to send those out to families through School Messenger and then post that on our Google Classroom also. So we shouldn't have many fees for many schools this year. Also on Common App, you can, if you receive free or reduced lunch, you just click a button and then I go in and I say, yes, this student does receive a free or reduced lunch and their fees should be waived. If because of coronavirus or any other situation in your family, you just can't afford to pay the application fees, then you just need to let me know. And I can reach out to the schools and let them know that's not something we can do right now, and that we need to receive a fee waiver, or they just need to go ahead and waive the fee and let us just submit it. If you're using the Common App, you have to enter information for a counselor. So you need to put in my name, and then you need to put in my Arbor Prep email. So I know I go back and forth. I toggle between Arbor Prep and PrepNet email just because of the position that I hold. But if you're doing Common App, you must enter my Arbor Prep email so that I can have all of my students in one central location. So that's very important. And I also have information about that in your Google Classroom. As you see at the bottom, I even show you there's going to be questions about what grading scale, there's going to be questions about your rating. I have all that filled in. So all you need to do is open up the document in Google Classroom and just fill in your application from there. So I think I've made it pretty streamlined for you. So as we hit October in 2 days, I can't believe that we're already in October, November, but this is going to be a busy time for us. FAFSA opens October 1st, and that's 2 days away. So that is Thursday that the FAFSA opens, and that's kind of crazy. So you want to make sure that you do the FAFSA as soon as possible. Now, do you have to log in October 1st and get your FAFSA done? No, that would be ideal, but no, you don't have to do that. You need to get an FSA ID. If you don't have one of those, I'm going to show you something I have on our college counseling website for you to use. But you want to get your FSA ID. Student and one parent needs an FSA ID. You want to get your tax information together and then sit down together and complete your FAFSA. A lot of parents have asked, am I still going to hold financial aid night? It won't be one big financial aid night because of social distancing requirements, but I am going to be scheduling independent meetings virtually to meet with families and complete their FAFSA. Also, if a parent wants to come in on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday when I'm at the school, they're more than welcome, and we can sit down and complete the FAFSA. There just will be a couple of questions that we have to have answered by the student, and I don't want to pull them out of class, so I would just tell you to have that information from them handy, and then I can assist you with completing it. So I'm still going to be there to help you complete the FAFSA if you would like. You're going to use your 2019 taxes. So it's a prior year of the taxes that you use. And then after we complete the FAFSA, you receive your student aid report. Once you receive that student aid report, usually in about 2 to 3 days, it says it should arrive 4 weeks after the FAFSA is filed, but it usually doesn't take that long. After you receive your student aid report, then I can look at it and I can kind of give you an idea of what you should be expecting as far as loans and government assistance to help you with schooling. Again, if you cannot afford the application fee from the college, then you just have to let me know. That's all I ask. Do not decide to not apply to a school because of the cost. Just let me know, and I can help you. I can definitely find a way. Many schools usually are not requiring a college essay, but because they're test optional this year, some schools have brought that in, such as Wayne State. Wayne State may ask you for an essay if you don't meet their qualifications to make a decision because they don't have those SAT scores. So just keep that in mind. I tell students that I am great at looking at your essay for content. So I can look at it and say, yeah, I think you've covered all the bases, but I am not the sole person you should use to look at it for grammatical errors. That's not my strong suit, and I know what I'm strong and what I'm weak at, and that's not something I'm strong at. My master's program, I used Grammarly like for every paper because that's not one of my strong points again. So I know a lot of students will use Ms. Hogan. I know some students will use Mr. Locke. You guys will be some of the first seniors that had Ms. Tinsley as a freshman student. So you're some of the first ones that really know her. So you can utilize Ms. Tinsley, but you definitely want to have your essay looked at by more than one eyes and definitely more than me. You want to request personal recommendations. Not every school requires personal recommendations, but I tell students that it's best to just have them. So it's best to go to your teacher, and I have brag sheets that are on our Google Classroom. So you would download the brag sheet, you would complete that, and then you would send it in to me. And then you would let me know what teacher you want your brag sheet to go out to, and I can send it out. And I'll be able to keep your brag sheet for you in case you need it for later times. A brag sheet is a great way for teachers to get more information about you than what you know. So we know you, but we don't know that you went out of the state and helped with hurricane recovery, or we don't know what you do at your church, or we don't know that you work and that's why you don't have any extracurricular activities. So you just want to make sure that you complete that brag sheet so you can get the best recommendation possible. For a lot of schools, those recommendations make or break you. Schools like University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, schools where you may not, your GPA may be kind of rocky, but you still want to go there, those recommendations can pull you forward. If you're doing the Common App, I have to do a recommendation for you no matter what, and you have to complete a brag sheet. Common Apps are usually due November 1st, but because this year, I think they're pushing the early action deadline back to November 15th for many schools. So I will tell you way ahead of time that this is my last day doing Common Apps is going to be this date. And then you just want to make sure that you get everything into me so that I can make sure everything is done for you, because I have so many students that I have to complete stuff for that it kind of gets overwhelming. So I just do a cutoff so that we're all on the same page. And you want to make sure that you research scholarships. You should never pay for scholarship information. You should never pay to receive a scholarship. They should never need your social security number. They should never need your bank information. The most they should need for you is usually a letter of recommendation or an essay. What usually happens is right now, students are telling me, I want scholarships. I want scholarships. Parents are telling me they want scholarships. Scholarships don't usually come into my door until November. I don't know if it's going to be that early because of coronavirus this year. Everything seems to have changed, even stuff I don't think is related to coronavirus. People tell me, well, that's pushed back because coronavirus, so I just go with it. So scholarships may be early, they may be late, they may be right around November, but whenever they come, I post them in my room for students who come in for a hybrid day. I'm going to put them on the Google Classroom, and I'm going to put them on our Google College site that I'll show you later. So that'll be 3 ways. I'm not going to send them out by email this year, just because it's a lot. So I'll have it on those websites and you'll be able to go on and apply. So parents, please stay on your student, because what happens is that students tell me, I have too much going on in my early college program. I have too much going on in my AP class. I can't complete any more essays for scholarships. And it's only $500. It's only $1,000. So that's what I hear. So parents, make sure you stay on top of your students. Students who are in our early college, many of them have told me what their plans are for their 13th year, but if you have not, I need to know if you're going to stay in the program for the 13th year or if you plan to exit out. I don't have many students exiting out this year except for those who are in the Wolverine Pathways program, because if they get accepted to the University of Michigan Ann Arbor, they get a scholarship. That makes sense. I have a student who may receive a basketball scholarship. That makes sense. But if you're exiting the program just to go to another college to pay for your freshman year, that doesn't make sense. So I really want students to think about that decision, especially when there's not even a good chance that you'll be going on a campus. There's not even a good chance that you'll be going into the classroom. Just complete that 13th year and let Arbor Prep pay for it. So I just need to know by the end of this semester, and then you're locked into that decision unless it's something big. If you receive a scholarship, then I'm not going to stop you from going. But if you just decide that you don't want to be in the program, then we'll definitely have to have a conversation with your parents, just so we can make sure that you're making the best decision for you and your family financially. Students who are in the program, your 13th year will be like your senior year. So currently students who were seniors last year who were in the program that went on for their 13th year, I'm working with them on applications. I'm working with them, making sure they get their FAFSA done. They don't come to Arbor Prep at all. I think one student came up there because something was wrong with her computer, so she had to switch it out, but that's it. There's no expectation for you to come and meet with me because all our meetings are virtual, or I'll go to Wayne County's campus if I'm allowed to next year. If you're going in the state of Michigan, then your credits will definitely transfer. University of Michigan Ann Arbor is the only school that sometimes gives us a hard time with transferring credits for students who took the class with all high school students. So we may have to fight that. Every other school will transfer your credits. So I'll make sure that you get your transcript sent to them. And again, my suggestions for the students in the program is that unless you receive a full ride scholarship, you strongly consider staying in for that 13th year and letting us pay for your freshman year of college. I have a student who exited the program to go to Easter because she wanted to be on campus, but she is not on campus. She's at home. All her classes are online, the same way they would have been at Wayne County, and she's paying for her freshman year. And she's paying like $5,000, whereas she would have not had to pay $5,000. So she took out her first loan for $5,000 when it wasn't necessary. So just keep that in mind. So for your senior project, you're going to talk about who you are, where you're going, and how you would get there. You do your presentations starting in March. Your advisory teachers will start, if they have not brought up your senior project, it will start to be brought up in October. Those who your advisory teacher is me, so that will be any student who is in the early college program. We're going to start talking about that next month also. So when you come in to do your check-in with me, I'll sit down with you and kind of go through what your senior project should look like. So important information. Students who receive free or reduced lunch, remember that you get free college applications, you get a strongly reduced AP testing, and you get other perks when it comes to applying to school. So if you have not applied for free or reduced lunch, you want to take care of that. TIP is a tuition incentive program through the state of Michigan. So if any students have received Medicaid for 24 months within a 36 consecutive month period, then you'll be eligible for TIP, which gives you free college tuition at a community college for 2 years. I have a list of students. I haven't started meeting with those students yet. I plan to do that as soon as I get FAFSA taken care of for families. So you should be hearing from me, parents and students, to complete your application. Something big is Social Security numbers. Parents sometimes don't feel comfortable. Sorry, I hear Demi Rose. Parents sometimes don't feel comfortable with giving their Social Security number or giving the student their Social Security number. The student doesn't know it, but we do need a Social Security number for college applications. So just keep that in mind. I have some students who keep their Social Security number in their phone as a phone number so that they can keep it in mind. I have some parents who say you need to call me every time you need a Social Security number. I have some parents that say memorize it because I don't have time. So whatever you feel is best for your family, but students will need their Social Security number for their application so that it links up with their financial aid. Some schools are requiring an application deposit, so let's keep that in mind. Michigan State requires an application deposit. A lot of out of states require application deposit. Some schools don't have an application deposit, but they have a deposit for you to say, okay, I'm staying in housing. So just keep that in mind. I will let the families know if they have to pay money for the application, or you'll see it when you submit it and can go forward with that. And again, scholarships usually arrive in my office in November or around late November. I'll start getting some. And again, I'm going to post them on the Google Classroom. I'm going to post them on the college counseling website. And I'm going to post a physical copy, if I have one, in my classroom for those students who are hybrid. So for volunteer hours, yes, volunteer hours are still going to be required. So that requirement is still going to be here. But I will tell you this, no student will not graduate because of volunteer hours. But we still want you to get as many as possible. Now, some students have came to me and said, I don't have any. Okay, coronavirus started last year in March. Before that, there's no reason why you didn't have any volunteer hours. So we want you to get those in. We're going to be extremely lenient on those this year. Sorry, guys. Demi Rose is crying. Come on. We're going to be extremely lenient on those this year for students. So if it's helping a family member out, go ahead and use those because we understand you can't get in a lot of buildings. We still want to keep it outside the house, but try to get the volunteer hours any way you can. If you're confused, if you're trying to figure something out, then just let me know. We don't have any day for senior breakfast. We don't have any day for prom. We don't have any day for graduation. We don't have any day for decision day, and we don't have any day for honors night. just because of the fact that we don't know what next year is going to look like. And we're waiting for more guidance. But I'm still starting to work on putting those days up. And as soon as I have some dates, then I'm going to send those out to you guys. Please believe. But I'm thinking that I won't start those until around November or December. And I know it's like unfortunate because you guys want to plan out everything for graduation and prom. Those are the big ones. But I am definitely going to work on those and getting those out to families because I understand how important those are. Senior dues, we're meeting to talk about those soon. So I will have those for you. And then senior presentations, those will start in March. So how do I plan to help you and your student? So I have a Google Classroom set up that has information that we're going to go to in a second. I'm offering virtual college visits, and I haven't had many students sign up. So you want to sign up for those college visits. We had EMU today. They gave a lot of great information for students who want to apply, information that I don't know because I don't work for the school, information that's not on their website. They talked about the presidential scholarship. They talked about being able to come and visit their campus and the requirement for the presidential scholarship to visit their campus, stuff that I didn't know. So you want to make sure that you're attending these virtual college visits because life is different than applying earlier since I've been working at Arbor Prep. So please make sure you're signing up for those visits. And if you can't figure out how to sign up, then just come see me. I'm not so much going into advisory classes as I am pulling students out. So during your advisory time, I've talked to Mr. Eklund, I've talked to Profe, and I've said, I need this time. So if you're not extremely busy in there, then I have already talked to them and said, I need this student on Wednesday, I need this student on Friday, and they're just gonna send you down. And I already know what I want you to do when you get down there. So when you come in and you speak and you sit down, I say, okay, get started. You said you want to apply to Wayne State. You said you want to apply to University of Michigan Arbor. Let's open up that Common App. Some of you I talked to during the summer, so I'm comfortable with where you are with applying to school. So I'm grabbing a lot of those students where I don't know your plans, and I know you need a little bit more assistance. Virtual meetings, like I said earlier, my Tuesdays and Thursdays are packed because I'm meeting virtually with students. Sometimes it's just reassuring you about what you already know about applying. Today, I sat with a student on Google Meet. I worked on what I had to work on, and she did college applications, and she just unmuted when she needs assistance. So it's not always me and you having to sit here having a whole conversation, but me just being there for support because I understand that you need it. Regular text messages. So I have most of your contact information as far as text, and that's how I communicate with you. I'm sending out text messages. How are you doing? Do you need any assistance? What's going on? Have you finished this? So I just need you again to interact with me and reply. And then whatever you need. So at first, in the beginning of the year, I was told that I couldn't really have parents and students coming. But after I made it clear that parents really need to be able to come in and meet with me, it was okay. So if you need to come in, all you have to do is do a temperature check and sign in so that we can have that for the health department in case anything happens. And then you could come and meet with me in my room and I can assist you. I'll sit at my desk, you sit across the room, and we can, do whatever you need in order to make sure that your student gets to where they want to go to. If it's the Navy, if it's the Army, if it's a 4-year, if it's a trade school, wherever. So I'm going to try to pull up the Google Classroom, the college visit sheet, and the Gator Counseling website and see if this works. Okay, so let me stop sharing this tab. 1 second. And then I'm going to just share my entire window. I hope you guys can hear Peppa Pig in the background while I'm trying to keep Demi Rose quiet while I finish this presentation. That's what work at home is looking like for me now. So this is the Google Classroom that I have for the class of 2021. So as you see, I just posted today, the University of Michigan Arbor is now added to our visit list. So students can go to the visit list that I'm going to pull up if they want to attend. I have the EMU visit link here, a couple of questions. I'm posting in here pretty regularly. So I hope that students are utilizing this, and parents, please ask them, did you go to Google Classroom? If they ask you a question, I don't know what's going on this year, did you go to Google Classroom? Because I try to be as transparent, and I try to be as the best communicator that I can with you all. So it should be here in Google Classroom. Here was a scholarship information, some scholarship I received July 21st. A virtual tours I was putting up, parchment that I talked about, and then the Common App. So the high school details and how to complete the Common App is here. Virtual college visit sign up sheet. This is the sign up sheet here. SVSU is going to be a virtual on-site. So that means that students who come to the SVSU virtual on-site, they're going to know that day if they're admitted or not to SVSU and what scholarships they're going to receive. We have Washtenaw coming. We have Western, Wayne State, University of Michigan Ann Arbor, Kettering, one of the top engineering schools in the nation, is coming to talk to us. So students, please let me know if you want to sign up. Parents, if you don't see your student's name or if you're unsure, email me. And I'll tell you, and then you can say, sign my student up, and please just make sure they attend. Because today I deleted Eastern so that I can continue, students continue to see the first one that's coming up. But today we had 20 students sign up and we had 10 students show up. And I really want them to get this information. And then our Gator College Counseling website. So one thing that you may see that's different. One thing you may see that's different when you come to this page is that I don't think if you're outside of our Arbor Prep email, you're going to be able to see this calendar. I was just notified of that. So that's unfortunate. I even think you won't be able to see if you're outside the class of 2021 Google College website web page. So I'm going to try to find a way to maybe screenshot it and put that there versus this calendar. But I plan to keep that updated. So on the main page, you have the parchment set up. After I get done with this, I'm going to put up the video from tonight so parents can access and students can access this and this information easily. And you can hear Demi Rose crying in the background easily in case you want to hear that. And also to go to the Google Classroom is located here. I have virtual tours for every school in the state of Michigan for you to see. Because again, we may not be able to get to these campuses, right? So you can see them for yourself. I have information about the SAT and PSAT. So for those of you who have younger students, for those of you who want to be a part of Mr. C's SAT prep class, I have information there. And then Khan Academy. Graduation requirements for those who may be trying to remember what they need to do to graduate, but that's more so for the younger students. Applying to college, maybe you forget what test optional is. Maybe you want to get to the Common App. That's a link right there for you to get to. It's embedded. And then if you want to apply, you don't have to go to the websites for the schools. You can come right here to the Gator College Counseling website, click, and it's going to take you to the application. This will take you to Saginaw Valleys. This will take you to Westerns, to Wayne County. So I really spent a nice amount of time on here. I have some scholarship information already for the College Board Scholarship. That's really nice. For FAFSA, so for you to complete the FSA ID, you could just click here and it's going to take you to the website for you to complete. You could just click here if you want to complete the FAFSA, so there's no need to look around to figure out where to go. And then I have some videos on here that I feel are great tips and a document here. For our early college students, I have a link here to Blackboard, to Cengage, and to your web email in case you forget it. And then for our freshmen and sophomores, I have information about the early college, and I did a presentation for them. I didn't do it live, but I did record it. So that information is there. So I hope that you take advantage of this website. I think there's a lot of great information here that I hope that you also think is here. And if there's anything that you think that I could include, then please let me know, and I will work my best to complete that. So this is my contact information. I'm in the building Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work from home, but I'm willing to meet with a student or a parent any day besides in the building. So I won't be driving to Arbor Prep unless we open on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the future. So I only will be meeting virtually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. My contact information, my phone number, where I can be reached at, you can text me. I usually answer right away unless it's late or on the weekends. And even sometimes on the weekends, I'll answer if I think you really need that answer right then. But that isn't an open, an open invitation. That isn't an open invitation to, send me a text or email on the weekends. And then our Gator College website is there for you to enjoy. So at this time, if anyone has any questions or concerns, feel free to unmute yourself or to put it in the chat. If not, I hope that presentation gave you as much information as you needed. And you're very welcome. And always feel free to reach out to me. Always feel free to let me know if you think that anything is missing for your student. I want to help you and them get to whatever end goal that you have. So I hope that you feel that we always have an open line of communication. Students, I hope you feel that you always can come to me if you need any assistance or any help. I hope you guys enjoyed Demi Rose making an appearance into our meeting, and I'm going to go feed her. So if you don't have any questions or concerns, that is the end, and I will talk to you all later. Need any help?
Oh, excuse me. Hello? Hello?
Hi. Hi, Megan.
Oh, hi. I'm Megan's mom. My voice sounds like I'm Megan's mom. Megan actually has a question. She wants to know, she was looking at her senior project, and they were saying she had to, it's called chaperone someone, like a shadow someone. And we're finding that a bit difficult. So is there another option for us, or does that have to be done in order for her to meet the requirements for the senior project?
So I'm going to talk with Mr. Eklund and Mr. Bolaños tomorrow, because it was up to the advisory teachers. But my suggestion to them was that they make it so it could be in person, it could be online, it could be over the phone, and that there be no time minimum that students need. So as long as they can talk to someone who's in the area that they're in, then we would consider that to be a completion of the project.
Okay, wonderful. Good, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Other question. Okay, how is the community hours waived? I mean, is there a certain, because I'm thinking maybe we could do something. It's hard to even picture how to do that because of this COVID. So if we were to do something for maybe a grandmother, maybe a community service, maybe a neighbor or something, would that be considered?
Yeah, yes, it would. That would work. Yes.
Wonderful. I'm just trying to figure out how we can do something. Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
All right. Okay, good.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Ms. Russell. This is Kimberly and Mrs. Oh, you know who I am. Okay. So my question is, so Kendall's been doing the early college program for the last 2 years.
Yes.
So when she graduates, I'm not sure if she will have the associate's degree. I don't think she will have a full associate's degree. So do you think that it would be ideal for her to continue at Washtenaw, especially if it's a free program, before she transfers to a major college or university?
I do. Yep, I do think it'll be beneficial. I'll need to look because any student that began the year that Kendall began, as long as they complete that 5th year, they're going to have an associate's degree. So I do think that it will be beneficial to her to complete it. Did that answer your question?
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes. And then Megan, we've had early release every year, so I don't see why this will be any different. But I don't have an early release date yet. So yeah, I don't see how that could be any different for you guys this year. Sure. Is the SAT meeting on the 6th that I report is the virtual meeting? I believe that SAT meeting is in person because she needs you to complete all of your registration, and she can't do that virtually. It has to be done in person, and it has to be done before the test. So she's going to need everybody to come in, but she'll make sure that you're socially distanced in the gym away from each other. Any other questions or concerns?
I'm sorry, I missed that part. What time for the SAT? I know it's October 14th.
So on October 14th, she didn't tell me what time she wanted the students there. So that information should be coming from Ms. Snowberger, and I will message her after we get done to let her know to send that out. If she sends it out again, or if she hasn't, send that out right now.
All right, thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So don't be a repeat. Oh, sorry, Miss Russell, last question. I'm sorry. Miss Russell.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah.
We're going to be tested again. This is the first, and this is the only one that can do the SAT, because I know you can do one, then you do another one. So this one's the one she's going to send to the actual college applicants?
Yes. Yep. Now remember, they're not requiring it. So this is the one that she can hold on to and then decide later to send to if it's needed. But yeah, so she'll have the SAT, and then the other one, are you talking about the ACT?
No, I'm thinking about, because I know that you could take it twice. Can she take it twice in her senior year?
Oh, yeah, she can take it as many times she wants. The problem that students are running into is that a lot of testing sites say they're offering SAT, and then it won't be able to be offered, or something will happen. So there's been a lot of problems with testing sites. So I would just keep that in mind if you decide to take it again.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Ms. Russell.
Yes.
Is there any HBCU college virtual tours coming up?
Not that I have seen. But I can always go on YouTube and see if I can find some. So I'll work on putting those on the website also.
Okay, because I did come across a couple of them, and I didn't know if there was any more. There was one like September 16th. And so I guess if I come across any, I'll let you know as well.
Please. Yeah, they offer some this summer, and I sent one out for a virtual college fair that the HBCUs were having, but I haven't seen any like joint tours, and I haven't been sent any individual ones, but I'm sure I can find some on their website. And again, I'm going to post some of those up. Yeah. This upcoming week.
Thank you.
Know. Yep, no problem. And Sherilyn just put that again, it's 12 to 1 for you to come for pre-registration. So thank you for that, love. All right, anything else? If not, I am going to stop recording, and then I'm going to